So President Trump is doubling down on his desire to take Greenland yesterday, imposing tariffs on 7 European nations after they voiced their support of Denmark and Greenland's sovereignty. Now, Russia is openly celebrating this unprecedented rift in the NATO alliance, and a Republican senator has referred to this move as, quote, beyond stupid. So yesterday, President Trump announced a 10% tariff on Denmark, Norway, Sweden, France, Germany, the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, and Finland, all, of course, NATO allies. He said that rate would climb to 25% on June 1st if no deal was in place for the complete and total purchase of Greenland by the United States. Now, a quick note, the American people do not support even buying Greenland. The most recent poll shows 13% support for the United States purchasing Greenland. A couple of responses here from around the world. French President Macron said, quote, no intimidation or threat will influence us, neither in Ukraine, nor in Greenland, nor anywhere else in the world where we are confronted with such situations. We will ensure that European sovereignty is upheld. So don't love it when our allies are making the comparison of the Russian invasion of Ukraine to the U.S. trying to take Greenland. Sweden's prime minister said, quote, we will not let ourselves be blackmailed. And turning to Russia, Dmitry Medvedev said, quote, the United States is preparing to attack Greenland, choosing the island itself rather than some kind of Atlantic solidarity. Kirill Dmitriev, who's running the negotiations from the Russian side, celebrated what he called the collapse of the transatlantic union. And then turning here to the United States, we are seeing some folks on both sides of the aisle speak out against this. Republican Senator Tom Tillis said, quote, this response to our own allies for sending a small number of troops to Greenland for training is bad for America, bad for American businesses, and bad for American allies. It's great for Putin, Xi, and other adversaries who want to see NATO divided. The fact that a small handful of advisors are actively pushing for coercive action to seize the territory of an ally is beyond stupid.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for the support that you are showing me. And today we are back with yet another episode. Yes, and we're going to be discussing about the trade dispute. So on Donald Trump's page, he announced that he is going to impose potential tariffs on several European allies, so amid the growing dispute over Greenland. So this may look like another trade dispute, but it's actually not. And what is actually happening between the US and the Europe right now could reshape how allies deal with each other. And Greenland is right at the center of it. So what really happened is President Donald Trump has announced potential tariffs on several European allies amid a growing dispute over Greenland. So these tariffs haven't all taken effect yet, but the warning itself is significant. So European nations, particularly those backing Denmark, are being told that trade consequences could follow if the standoff continues, So this has immediately raised alarms in Europe, not just economically, but politically and diplomatically.
Well, the World Economic Forum here in Switzerland appears to be getting more and more interesting by the day, especially as the president makes clear that he has every intention of putting Greenland under U.S. control for national security reasons, as he continues to talk about the significance of the Arctic. Those conversations about Greenland and his preparedness in order to go toe-to-toe with European leaders certainly overshadowing things here in Switzerland, with the president saying that he's prepared to make good on his threat to institute tariffs on 8 different European countries who have all made the choice to move troops, small numbers of troops, typically dozens at a time, over to Greenland as an act of NATO solidarity. The president was none too impressed by that and has said that he's prepared to institute tariffs on those countries until a deal is struck in order to bring Greenland under U.S. control. Europe is currently scrambling right now. They're holding a series of emergency meetings here this week, and they say that they're prepared to take countermeasures in order to combat the U.S. tariffs, but they're also hoping to have more conversations with President Trump here in Switzerland when he gets on the ground.
So I want to explain why this is actually unusual. So trade pressure is usually aimed at rivals, and what makes this moment different is that the pressure is being aimed at long-standing allies. So these are the countries tied to the US. Yeah, through NATO, the defense cooperation, and decades of shared security interest. So, using tariffs as leverage in that context sends a very different message, one that Europe is taking seriously. So, why this Greenland matters? So, Greenland might seem remote, but strategically, it's incredibly valuable. So, it sits at a key point in the Arctic, a region growing more important as ice melts and shipping routes open. So it's also close to North America, so critical for missile defense and military positioning. So on top of that, Greenland holds valuable natural resources, including rare earth minerals. Yes. So this combination is a geopolitical prize and explains why interest in the island keeps resurfacing.
In order to sort this whole matter out. But this isn't going anywhere, and the president says this is very important to the United States and to national security long term.
The European leaders have pushed back hard. They argued that Greenland's future should be decided by its people, not by outside economic pressure. So, several countries have warned that tariffs tied to political demands cross a dangerous line. So, the European has also signaled it has tools to respond if tariffs move from threats to reality. Yeah, so let's look at the bigger picture. So isn't just about Greenland or the tariffs. It's about how power is exercised. Trade has become a weapon in global politics, and now we are seeing that tool used within alliances, not just against competitors like China or even Russia. So that raises uncomfortable questions. Are alliances becoming more transactional? And what happens when economic pressure replaces diplomacy?
What you have to understand, and that the position that Donald Trump is taking for the future of the United States of America, with wanting the purchase of Greenland so bad, he's turning us into a fortress.
All of this discussion has the risk and consequences. So escalation helps no one. So a trade fight between the US and Europe would raise prices, unsettle markets, and weaken cooperation at a time when global tension are already high. So there is also the NATO angle. Trust matters in military alliances, and economic coercion can erode that trust really quick.
Think about it like this. You own a castle, and very, very bad men are on their way on horses to destroy your castle and take down your village. What do? What did every single one of them do in every movie that you have ever watched? What is in front of the castle? They start digging, they start trenching, and they build themselves a moat. Donald Trump has already come to the realization that there are only going to be three superpowers in this world: Russia, China, and the United States of America. And under this president's watch, with everybody wanting to take this country down, he needs Greenland to stop Russia and China to come anywhere near our eastern seaboard. And of course, to build the Iron Dome. But none of you will get it, and many of you won't appreciate it. Russia and China are going to have theirs, and America is going to have ours. You see, what the real message that Donald Trump is putting out to the world is that there is no more Europe because of all of their incompetent leadership and continuing to allow all these illegal immigrants to come into all of their countries. It's not if, it's when they turn into a third world. And I've got so many friends that I've made over there through social media, and my heart goes out to every single one of them. But we cannot continue to exhaust ourselves as the only country that is willing to stand up for humanity. 195 countries. We cannot be the only one. I've never seen anything like this. A president that puts his country and his citizens first in everything he does. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless our president, Donald J. Trump. And God bless the United States of America.
So you guys, whether you support Trump's strategy or oppose it, one thing is clear. This marks a shift in how disputes between allies are handled. And Greenland has become a symbol of something bigger, a test of how far economic pressure can go without breaking a long-standing partnership. So let me ask you, are tariffs a legitimate negotiating tool with the allies, or does it push things further? So guys, drop your thoughts in the comment section and keep it respectful. Tell me what you think. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye guys.